inquire, is there any image that I can reflect that is good enough? Hi everyone, welcome to Mindful Adventures. The first question. Sometimes I just want to escape or be somebody else. I never feel good enough, and when I do feel okay, it doesn't ever last. What are the steps to rebrand myself into someone new? Again. Sometimes I just want to escape or be somebody else. I never feel good enough, and when I do feel okay, it doesn't ever last. What are the steps to rebrand myself into someone new? Well, rebranding is usually for the businesses, and anytime most brands have a brand personality, through the course of time, sometimes that personality or the brand persona doesn't fit anymore with what the consumers want. And so this is where you see the concept of rebranding. Sometimes it may appear as a new image, a new logo, or a revised logo. Other times it may be a new catchphrase or a new product offering that goes along with the rebranding. But these things are just for businesses, reflecting the desire of consumers. So first, understand that you are not a product to be bought or sold. Rebranding oneself into someone new. So you have to ask yourself, what is the image that you want to reflect? Is there any image that you can reflect that isn't a rebranding or a repetition or a re-anything? You are here first as awareness, pure consciousness. So rebranding to reflect another image will never fit. And as soon as your person or your persona no longer matches what you see around you and happening in the society, or it no longer fits with the idea that you may be carrying about yourself, then you may end up finding yourself back at square one, looking for rebranding. Is there any image that you've ever reflected? Inquire, is there any image that I can reflect that is good enough? And deep inside, I think our intuition The heart can be speaking. The truth is there. That when the garments of a new brand, or the garments of a persona, which is just a mask, when those garments and that mask no longer fits, then it never feels good enough. You know, if we look around the world, it appears that nature is renewing itself, but it doesn't rebrand itself. The star systems don't rebrand. The solar system is just the solar system, no rebranding. The roses are roses. They don't rebrand. Your respiratory system, digestive system, circulatory system, and nervous system don't rebrand. Yet in your belief system, there's a belief that you are not yourself. Or you may be carrying the belief that you can be somebody else. But when you ask to rebrand yourself into someone new, you are the self. So when you speak, as what are you speaking? Are you speaking as the self, or are you speaking as your belief system? The belief system carries a concept of rebranding, but again, you are not a product to be bought or sold. Don't take the bribe of the belief system. If the thought arises, I want to be somebody else, don't take the bribe. And then a thought may arise, may say, I want to be a star, a superstar, or I want to be a boss. Or I want to be something else. Don't take the bribe. As soon as you take the bribe, and you take the bribe of the false notion coming from the belief system, then you'll be blinded by the bribery to what is. Here now. So look inside, close your eyes, look within. And ask, what am I? Who am I? And if a thought arises, allow it to subside. If a thought arises saying, I am this, don't take the bribe. And if a thought arises saying, I am that, don't take the bribe. Neither this nor that. And in asking, who am I? And no thought arises, I'm sure you've seen that no matter how much plastic surgeries that people want to pay for, and no matter how many things can be rebranded on the surface, you can never rebrand a being. The being requires no rebranding. The being is newness, freshness, vitality. Isness. What is, not what is not a persona, not a mask, but what is. In your question you asked, what are the steps to rebrand yourself into someone new? I invite you to ask this question: how many footsteps does it take to find myself when I get out of bed in the morning? No footsteps. You are the self. So just be still. No steps. And then you'll find that everything is new. The person is never new. The person is never new. The person repeats the belief systems, the belief system that relates to the person. However, beingness is always new, fresh. It means really a surrender to the unknown. Surrender to the unknowable. And in that, the true nature of the self is ever revealed. Sometimes you just want to escape or be somebody else. Being somebody else is an escape. You are the self. It is worth it to inquire into the I, as it arises in thought and dissipates, to discover this for yourself. And until this discovery, it's really a remembrance. Is recognized directly, then the question may continue to arise. Yes, we're branding. That's just for the businesses. Into someone else or a new person. The person is never new. The person always rebrands, reacts. That's what reaction is. It is to not reenact. It is to react. So no act. No pretense or carrying a prefabricated, prepackaged idea of who or what you are. I understand it is difficult, or it may appear to be difficult, but in letting go of the pretense and letting go of acts, of acting, you may come to see that you are the self that has been here all along. The next question: how do I get rid of bad habits like drinking, cursing, and gambling? Again, how do I get rid of bad habits like drinking, cursing, and gambling? You know, the tricky thing about habits is that habits are rooted in the idea of having. And by believing and identifying with someone who can have it, it creates the habit. So for example, let's say I want to have a cigarette. And then, after having the cigarette, I want another, and another, and another. And so I pull out the cigarette from the pack, light it up, because I mistakenly think that I have it, I'm having it. After smoking, it goes out, or it reaches its natural end, the simple nature of things. And I put it down, and then eventually one could say, I can't quit smoking, or I can't quit drinking, or I can't quit gambling, or I can't quit cursing. And there is some truth to that statement. No, you cannot quit it because you never started. You know, cause and effect gives the illusion of you being the cause and then being stuck with the effect, called a habit. But when you open the bottle, or you reach in your pocket to pull out the coins, or You light the cigarette or a joint, whatever it is. That is not the cause. The cause first arises in thought, and by taking the bribe, the effect happens immediately. So rather than cause and effect, it is cause-effect, package deal. Now it depends. If you are identified as a drinker, then the drinker wants to have another drink. But this is the thing. You are not the drinker. Your thinker is the drinker. And it first arises in thought. After choosing to have it in thought, then the effect is that you actually drink it. So to have it becomes a habit. It's important to look in silence, look inwardly. Let's see. From where does this thought arise from and return to? Not psychoanalysis, of course. Don't psychoanalyze yourself, because that can be an endless cycle, one in which will reinforce the mistaken belief or identification of being a haver with a habit. You cannot have it, and now you want to quit it, but you never started. It arose in thought, and then by choosing, there you go. You chose. The cause and effect come in the exact same moment. It only gives the appearance of a delay. If you say to yourself, I can't quit drinking. Okay, that is fine. Or I can't quit gambling. It is good to say it like it is. You know, there's a lot of positive motivational type stuff out there where, you know, oh, you want to use the affirmation, but first you have to confirm that which you are denying. And if you can confirm it, then this is, wow. It's telling the truth. Not speaking a lie, and avoidance, escape avoidance, and denial, but it is telling the truth to confirm, I can't quit. Now consider that if you cannot quit, I hope you're following this, you cannot quit, then how is it that the cause is in your hands to start? If you cannot quit, that means that you cannot quit. And if you realize and can confirm in surrender that I cannot quit, then it simply means do not start. Doesn't mean, okay, well, I can't quit, so how do I quit? Because the mind will start to go into a whole, or it may start to go into a whole storytelling of the steps to quit and what to do next to quit. And meanwhile, in the belief system, you believe that you are a starter. If you cannot finish, therefore you cannot start. And if you cannot quit, then it just means don't start. Everything is new. It's not like, what do you mean? I can't quit. Okay, you can't quit. There you go. You can't quit. And therefore, don't start. It's best to say, I choose not to start, rather than I choose to quit. If we look at the nature of cause and effect, or cause-effect, I'll go back to the cigarette example. When you light the cigarette, and the cigarette eventually goes out, or you put it out, the illusion there is that you are putting it out. But in the simple nature of things, the paper, the fire, it will continue to burn and it will go out on its own. And so the cigarette quits you before you even have the idea arise in thought that you can quit. And nobody wants to feel rejected. The cigarette quit me? The bottle of alcohol quit me? Right, it is rejecting you. It is trying to show that there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity for release and let go, or an opportunity for conscious choice, non-attachment, to let go. It's non-attachment. So, okay, the cigarette quits you. And then in thinking that you were the starter, when the starter arose in thought, it didn't arise when you lit it, it started when it arises in thought. Then it's like, okay, well, now I have another. It's like, well, you didn't have it. You never had it. So when the cigarette quits you, make a conscious choice. Okay, I choose not to start. When the bottle is empty, make a conscious choice. I choose not to start. Not that I choose to quit. How can you quit if you never started? If you cannot locate the original cause, the original thought, if you sit in silence and you're trying to pinpoint, okay, so where is it? Where's the drinker? Eyes closed, looking in, self-inquiry. Where's the drinker? Look. You are searching for the thought that is disguised as the drinker, when the drinker does not exist, it is just a thought. Maybe drinking exists, but the drinker does not exist. You're waiting. See if you can find it. See if you can locate it. But I think it is good to, if you say you can't quit, then you're telling the truth. It's not a negative statement. Sometimes I think we've been hypnotized by all of this positive speech, affirmation type stuff. If you cannot tell the truth, then affirming in order to deny that which you know deep inside is not going to help you. That's just the realness. So, in taking that opportunity to tell the truth, and then there's some space that opens up for you to choose wisely, be still and watchful. See if the thought arises again. Don't look for it. It may not arise. And if it does, just don't take the bribe. How do I get rid of bad habits? Well, you don't have it, so there's nothing to get rid of. Are you having it now? And cursing, yes. I understand. If there's any curse word that I humbly suggest you check into, it is the word because. This word is tricky. In many contexts, it can work. But when it comes to things like habits, the word because is like declaring something that is when it's not, or declaring something that is not as it is. And this can be very dangerous. Because may reinforce the belief system, the identification with that which is not. And then in speaking about it and sharing, you say, well, I can't quit because. And you're saying a cause that does not exist because it first arose in thought, the thought has already come and gone, and you've chosen to identify with that. And then you initiate an effect and call it a cause of your current situation. So cause and effect come together. It's a package deal. Depends. And if you will be watchful, aware, and know thyself, you are spaciousness, pure consciousness. And of course, within spaciousness and pure consciousness, all thoughts arise and subside, and yet, just observe, let it go. Don't initiate an effect and then declare that you are the causer of that effect when you did not see that thought arise from the very beginning. So if any habit to take a look at would be the word because, to see how your thoughts arise and subside, and then understanding will arise. A Zen student came to Benkei and complained, "Master, I have an unforgivable temper. How can I cure it?" "You have something very strange," replied Benkei. "Let me see what you have." "Just now I can't show it to you," replied the other. "Well, when can you show it to me?" asked Benkei. "It arises unexpectedly," replied the student. "Then," concluded Benkei, it must not be your own true nature. If it were, you could show it to me at any time. When you were born, you did not have it, and your parents did not give it to you. Think that over." Yeah, see, these things come and go. Our thoughts, they come and go. It's like I'm looking out up at this beautiful sky, blue sky, and all of the clouds are moving, and yet the sky is untouched. Awareness. Any attempt to have that which comes and goes, after multiple attempts and identifying with that which is coming and going and trying to continuously have it, that is what creates the habit. To have it is a habit, so don't have it. You can't have it. It's not yours to have because it's already come and left in thought. So just be here now. The self. May all be freedom. Namaste.